All right. Good morning, everyone. We're live here, and uh, I'm coming to you from South Jersey, and my guest today is Tamra Simon. She's coming to you from Utah, and she is a fellow honey badger in Honey Badger Nation. So, what does that mean? Here you go.
This is Honey Badger Nation,
where real estate agents from around the globe come together
to grow, collaborate,
and expand their business.
Where we take our individual fires and put them together and make one big fire.
This is the Honey Badger Nation.
All right. So, brief introduction. Tamra is in a mastermind group that I'm in as well with Honey Badger Nation. So, honey badgers collaborate all across the country and all around the world. So, it's just so much fun to be part of this group. And welcome, Tamra. Good to have you here this morning.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited about doing this.
Yeah. So, we've been meeting every Monday night for quite a while now, I guess a few months anyway. And it's been a lot of fun with our boy Nick Krem. He's
I gotta love Nick.
Yeah, it's just amazing this collaboration that I never got this. Now, I mean, we're gonna learn your story. I don't know your story yet either. Maybe someday you can interview me and you'll get my story, but because I've been in the business 32 years and I've never seen anything like this. This collaboration, it blows your mind. And I know it's one of our core values at EXP, but you just don't get it until you're in it. And then you understand. Yeah.
So, I think it's one of the things that drew me that I didn't even know existed, because I've only been in 17 years. So
yeah.
And I've never seen anything, because usually agents hold everything to the cuff. They don't share anything. They don't want to give up any of their any of those tips and tricks that they've learned along the way. And you get in with the honey badgers and with EXP, and everybody's like, here, let us help you. What do you need? And it took me off guard because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, it really is amazing. And that's why we're collaborating today. So let's hear your story. Everybody has a unique journey, how they got into real estate and how it all panned out. I mean, everybody's is completely different. It's bizarre. So how did you first get into real estate? And let's hear your story.
Well, my story started, I had a cousin, and I lived actually in a very small town here in Utah, and they were having an issue with getting appraisals done. He wasn't actually an agent at that time. And he's like, you would be a really good appraiser. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went to appraisal school, became an appraiser, and really liked that. Found it was a little monopolized. So I was a little more outgoing than being on the back end. So I decided I was going to become an agent.
Yeah.
And dove in, went to school. Who knew going back to school at 32? Hello. I had to go back to studying. But I found that I really enjoyed, being able to meet new people, be on that front line, do something for others, and, help them with that biggest investment. And I totally fell in love with it.
Cool.
And that was 17 years ago. And I got in 2005 and, was trucking along, and who knew that the mortgage was going to crash and my world as I knew it was going to change. And so where I was used to everything coming easy, next thing you know, I had to learn short sales and foreclosures. And so I dove in there.
Yeah, we all had to do that. I mean, it's markets change all the time. I don't know what's going on in Utah right now, but we're riding a hot market here. And I keep telling all the agents in my group that it's going to change. There's going to be a transition. This isn't going to stay like this forever. Sure enough, it's going to start shifting a little bit because, it's funny. I started when I was 30. as as well. You started when you were 32, and but now I've been in 32 years, so so I'm getting up there. Let's put it that way.
I'm sure you've got some good tricks behind your sleeves too. So
Yeah, but I've seen these markets. I've seen them go up, down, and sideways. And you're right. The appraisal market for a while was crazy. And you must be very analytical if you wanted to get into appraising.
I didn't realize it was so analytical until I got going in it, but I was fascinated by it.
Yeah.
My father was a contractor. And so, I kind of grew up around homes being built, but never really understood any of the mechanics until I got older and got into this field. So,
yeah. Well, it sure is a good experience for you to have when you're going out to price a listing. Coming from the appraisal field. I mean, you're definitely well versed in trying to figure out the market value, right?
It's been one of those things I've kept in my arsenal, and I've always tried to keep it sharpened so that when I get out there, I can serve my clients at the highest level. And so I've taken quite a lot of pride in being able to offer that to them. So it's definitely a perk to hiring me. So
right. So you started in 2005, and then were you just a single agent? Did you ever have a team? I see you coach others and mentor others.
I've always been a solo agent, but I have an outlook to that because I come from a team concept. My team is my escrow, my lender, everyone it takes in my tribe to get the transaction closed.
That's
so
cool.
Even though I'm a solo agent, I have this wonderful team behind me.
Well, I've always been a solo agent too. And back when we started, there really weren't teams. This is kind of a newer thing. So you're a little bit old school. I'm really old school, but I started before the damn internet.
Yeah. I heard stories of how they'd open up the book, and this is
we got the book.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks, the new book came out. You had to go get it.
Yeah, I can't even fathom how that worked. I mean, that just tells you I got right on the technology train. Learning how to do that. I can't imagine having to open up a book and go, okay, these are the new ones.
Yeah, by 2005, it was the beginning of the internet. It wasn't like it is today. That's for sure.
Oh, by no means.
But it was electronic.
It was MySpace then.
Yeah. So things have evolved, and that's what I know. This isn't all about EXP. This is about just markets in general. But EXP is evolved. Like real estate brokerages, some of them did not evolve. And because today is just phenomenally different than years ago when we were doing business, and it's changed so much. And they're just tools. Technology is just a tool to make your life easier. Sometimes it seems like it makes it harder, but it's easier. Once you learn the tools.
I remember, as the market was starting to crash, and had I been a little bit smarter and been in the business a little bit longer, I would have recognized some of those signs, because we had several of our brokerages here that were just closing doors, and agents that were not getting paid. And, for some reason, I never took note of, this is, there's something going on. And of course, I'd only been in the business 2 years when 2007 started to make those signs, and none of us caught it. Only some of the real smart ones knew what was going on, and I hadn't quite caught that yet. I hadn't been in the business long enough.
Well, it's like this crazy market during the pandemic. It's like nobody's ever experienced it before. Like that crash will never happen again. This is not, it's not going to happen again. For those of you watching that worry about that, that's that was fueled by too many different outside factors with mortgages and like I used to call I don't know what we called it. The underwriters were blind. Like anybody could get a mortgage back then. Anybody.
Anyone.
You go in and the underwriters didn't even look at it. Like you could just get it approved for anything. You had no
When you can hand them a blank
no
piece of paper.
documentation. What's that?
I says you can hand them a blank piece of paper and get approved.
I know. How much do you make? I make this much. Oh, okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, completely different market than what we're in now.
And that caused a lot of problems, obviously. You know, that's not that's not going to happen again. Then, you know, but yeah, I think this market's going to shift, but it's not going to crash. I mean, it's not going to.
We're not in a bubble.
No.
You know, everyone's always, I mean, because that seems to be on top of everyone's mind. They listen to the media and they're like, oh, it's going to crash. You know, it's eventually going to crash. And I'm like, no, it's not going to crash in the way you think it's going to crash. No, we're eventually going to shift and adjust to the market.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know that we'll ever have a normal market, you know, because it hasn't been normal in a couple of years. So
yeah. It's going to stabilize, you know, it's definitely going to stabilize.
And it's going to level. I mean, you're going to start to see that level off, which is, you know, kind of my theory behind the interest rates and, you know, so to help it with that correction in the market.
Yeah, I know. And there's a lot going on in the financial markets right now. And that's, you know, that causes uncertainty. You got a war going on in the Ukraine, and that causes uncertainty. And, you know, that these things happen. But supply and demand is the key. I mean, I'm still seeing in my area multiple offers on everything you list, pretty much. I mean,
oh yeah, it's a race out of the gate. Oh, it's on the market, and everybody goes.
I know. So, you know, and you know, who would have thought? I remember in the very beginning of COVID when the pandemic hit. I don't know if you were on any of the podcasts that they were doing from Puerto Rico with Gene Frederick and you know, Brent Gove, and they were we were built for this. They were going, we were built for this because when everything shut down, we were already virtual. So that made it easier. But they were predicting this big crash, you know, basically because of the pandemic. And this is going to be a real problem in, you know, 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Well, who knew that it would have been exactly the opposite? Because everybody, let's face it, everybody in the city wanted to get the hell out of there and get, you know, a little more space. I mean, I don't know. I know Utah's a pretty wide open area, but I don't know where you live, but like I have 1.5 acres, like with an in-ground pool. We didn't care. We just stayed home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, here it didn't quite work that way. I mean, luckily we stayed essential. So here, you know, most agents were still, you know, able to work and provide for their clients. We just had to uphold a lot of the COVID restrictions, making sure everyone was taking precautions.
Yeah.
You really didn't see much of a slow here in Utah, but we haven't had slow in a couple of years.
Yeah, no.
And I mean, it's been, I mean, our numbers as far as, you know, our on market numbers are coming up a little bit, but that could do with, you know, the spring market.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I kind of see whenever there's a shift, you know, I don't consider myself an expert, but I sure do have a lot of experience. So whenever there's a shift, it seems to somehow be hyper local, so to speak, because like some areas will still stay strong while others start to stabilize, and then it eventually goes across to all markets, you know. But it, you know, there's like where we are in the last few years in my general area, they built a brand new hospital. So that brings in jobs, that brings in doctors and nurses, and and now what they're doing all around the hospital is the commercial properties are being sold up, and they're going to build doctors' offices and specialists and surgical centers and all that other stuff. So that drives
the growth.
Yeah, that's going to continue to drive this this area, no matter what happens to the market itself. It's still going to drive this area. So, and I feel fortunate to be in an area like that. So, so tell me about how we all have a kind of a different experience, how we got introduced to EXP, or, and what problems were solved in your business when you came over to EXP.
It's interesting because my very good friend is actually, she's like, you'll never guess, but I've switched brokerages. And I says, you have? And she's like, we're signing up with EXP. And I was blown away that she'd even think to go there. Mm-hmm. And I had been approached several times, for probably about 3 years. And it just, I think it was more the approach than the model. And so, I'd never really looked at it. And then when my good friend here decided that I needed to take a look, and she's one of those, she wasn't taking no for an answer. I was taking a look. And, so I took the time and really dove in and had opened my mind to actually see what was there. And I had one of those moments where I went, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
With this plan, I honestly will not have to sell real estate the rest of my life. It changed the whole outlook. And at the time I was with 100% brokerage.
Okay.
And it was just a small boutique brokerage, and I love everyone there. And I'd worked with some of the bigger names throughout my career. But I was like, this just, it hit me. And I was like, there's so much to this. And I've always been one that I have enjoyed having my home office. I've enjoyed, being able to take my creativity and work from home. And this just kind of fit with that because it was the virtual cloud brokerage, and I could do everything from no matter where I was at. And my husband and I like to travel, and I'm like, I can still do this from there. I can handle everything from wherever I'm at. All I need is an internet connection.
Yeah.
And so it just clicked. And I've only been with EXP since September of 2021.
Oh, wow.
So okay. I'm, fairly new. I mean, I've not even been here a year. And I love every aspect that I've come in contact with in this business. With EXP, everyone has been just so welcoming and so willing to help me learn all there is to know. And I've never really had that in any other company. And I had great mentors. Don't get me wrong. I had great people that helped me in the business, but never like this. I mean, everyone is, they're maybe at the top of the ladder, but they're hands down, and they're like, let me help you up those steps so you get here with me, and we'll all go together.
Yeah, exactly.
And that team concept, even though I'm not a team, but that team concept really, really spoke to me.
Yeah, well, I'm not a team either, but now I have a group under me, so I call them Team Double E, because I tell them, I'm like, I had to put a name on it. I got sick of saying, hey you guys, so I just took my initials and said Team Double E. But I mean, they're on my team as far as they all have my support. And what I'm enjoying is I have 23 agents now in Team Double E that I get to help and help grow every day. And but it's not a team. So they're not on my team. I don't take a cut of their split or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I get everyone is excited about rev share, and I'm excited about rev share, but I kind of come from a serving heart. I mean, I coach for John Maxwell team. And so I kind of have that in me. So I love to help those that are with me.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever they're having problems with or they need help with, I like to coach them through it so that we can all get to the other side of where it is that we want to go.
Yeah.
And so it speaks to me there. And this was just that place. This was where I was supposed to land. And
Right.
you know, I just hit the ground running, and now I'm just,
Well,
you know, let's all
that's
go to the
great.
top.
That's great. All my, we just got together with a few of the agents the other night in a happy hour, which are always fun. And, I was just ecstatic that they're all so happy and they feel like I didn't come to EXP because of revenue share. And like, that's only one piece of it. And I didn't come because you get stock. I was not at 100% brokerage, although you theoretically could get to 100%, but it was hard as hell. And I came because of the fairness of the commission schedule. 80-20 split, 16,000 cap, and you go to 100%. And my friend told me that, and I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. There's no way they're not going to make any money. Like, that's, and sure enough, it works. It works.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a brilliant model for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
But the people that are there are even better. I mean, because you seriously make some. I mean, I've made incredible friends, even though I've never met face to face with most of them.
Yeah.
I'm making incredible friends along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's great. We're having fun, and and that's the bottom line. So we'll all be having fun. When the markets start to shift, we just got to pivot, and you've been in the business long enough to know.
Start now.
Just got to make some
you
adjustments.
Start making the changes now because they're on the horizon.
Yep. But we can all deal with it. It's part of life. It's part of the business, and
it's real estate. I mean, you have to, you always have to have one foot ready to go whichever direction the market's going to shift. Mm-hmm. You just have to be ready to go, okay, this is the way it's going. This is where we're going.
Yep. And there's nothing, there's too many outside factors. There's nothing we can do about it. It's just going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And, and we'll be ready. We'll be ready to serve our clients and give them the best, the best service that they deserve. And that's the bottom line.
Absolutely.
Just like we're doing now. So let's let people know how to get a hold of you. If somebody in Utah wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way?
Well, they can catch me on Instagram at Tamra_Simons_home matchmaker.
Home matchmaker. I see that's your I don't know, your shtick.
Yeah. I decided, that's kind of what I was doing is I was matchmaking my clients. And so not a dating site, but I'll show them any house that they want to take a look at. And if it fits, then we'll make it happen.
Sounds good. Well, it was great talking to you, Tamra, and learning more about your story. And I'll see you on Monday night in our mastermind.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You do the same.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.